Creating new track versions. You can create new empty track versions for selected tracks. Procedure. In the track list, select the tracks for which you want to create a new track version. Select Project Track Versions New Version. Note: you can also use the Track Versions section in the inspector, only available for audio tracks, MIDI tracks, instrument tracks, and the chord track, or the Track Versions pop-up menu in the track list to create a new track version. Result: the event display shows a new empty track version. Events of previous track versions are hidden. The track list shows a default version name. Track Versions section. Track Version IDs. Track Version IDs. All track versions are automatically assigned an ID. Track versions that are created together receive the same track version ID and can be selected together. In the Track Versions section in the inspector, the track version ID is shown in the ID column of the track version list. In the track list, you can open the Track Versions pop-up menu to see the track version ID. Creating new track versions. Selecting tracks by track version ID. Selecting tracks by track version ID. You can simultaneously select all tracks that share the same track version ID. Procedure. Activate the track version. Select Project Track Versions, select tracks with same version ID. Result: all tracks that have track versions with the same ID are selected. Track version IDs. Assigning a common ID. Assigning a common ID. Track versions on different tracks that were not created together have different track version IDs. Track versions with different IDs cannot be activated together. To do this, you must assign a new version ID to these tracks. Procedure. Select the tracks and activate the track versions to which you want to assign a common version ID. Select Project Track Versions, assign common version ID. Result: a new ID is assigned to all active track versions on the selected tracks. The tracks are now marked as belonging together. You can now activate them all at once. Selecting tracks by track version ID. Active track version. Active track version. If you created more than one track version for a track, you can show the events of a specific track version in the event display. This process is referred to as activating track versions. Assigning a common ID. Activating track versions. Activating track versions. You can activate one of your track versions. This also shows its events in the event display. Procedure. Click the arrow to the right of the track name to open the Track Versions pop-up menu. Select the track version that you want to activate. Optional: activate Show Version Name in Track List. This shows the version name next to the track name in the track list. Result: the selected version is activated and its events are shown in the event display. Note: if you work with audio tracks, MIDI tracks, instrument tracks, the sampler track, or the chord track, you can also use the Track Versions section of the inspector to activate a track version. Related links: Track Versions pop-up menu. Track version names. Active track version. Activating track versions on multiple tracks. Activating track versions on multiple tracks. You can simultaneously activate track versions on multiple tracks if these track versions share the same ID. Procedure. Select all tracks for which you want to activate a specific track version. Click the arrow to the right of a track name to open the Track Versions pop-up menu. Select the track version that you want to activate from the list. Result: the selected track version is activated for all selected tracks and the corresponding events are shown in the event display. Note: if you work with audio tracks, MIDI tracks, instrument tracks, or the chord track, you can also use the Track Versions section of the inspector to activate a track version. Activating track versions. Duplicating track versions. Duplicating track versions. You can duplicate a track version by creating a new track version that contains a copy of the active track version. Procedure. In the track list, select the track and activate the track version that you want to duplicate. Select Project Track Versions Duplicate Version. In the event display, a duplicate track version is displayed. In the track list, a default version name for the duplicate is shown. Note: you can also use the Track Versions section of the inspector for audio tracks, MIDI tracks, instrument tracks, and chord tracks, or the Track Versions pop-up menu in the track list to duplicate a track version. Activating track versions on multiple tracks. Deleting track versions. Deleting track versions. You can delete track versions that you no longer need. Procedure. Select the tracks and activate the track versions that you want to delete. Select Project Track Versions Delete Version. Note: you can also use the Track Versions section of the inspector for audio tracks, MIDI tracks, instrument tracks, and chord tracks, or the Track Versions pop-up menu in the track list to delete the active track version for selected tracks. Duplicating track versions. Copying and pasting selection ranges between track versions. Copying and pasting selection ranges between track versions. You can copy and paste ranges between different track versions even across multiple tracks. Prerequisite: you have at least 2 track versions. Procedure. Select the range selection tool. Select a range of the track version that you want to copy. Select Edit Copy. Activate the track version into which you want to insert the copied range. Select Edit Paste. Result: the copied range from the first track version is pasted to the second track version at the exact same position. Note: if you want to perform more complicated comping tasks, we recommend that you select Project Track Versions, create lanes from versions, and proceed with the comp tool. Deleting track versions. Copying and pasting selected events between track versions. Copying and pasting selected events between track versions. You can copy and paste selected events between different track versions even across multiple tracks. Prerequisite: you have at least 2 track versions and you have split the corresponding events with the split tool, for example. Procedure. Select the Object Selection tool. Select the events that you want to copy. Select Edit Copy. Activate the track version into which you want to insert the copied events. Select Edit Functions, Paste at Origin. Result: the copied events from the first track version are pasted to the second track version at the exact same position. Copying and pasting selection ranges between track versions. Track version names. Track version names. Each track version has a default track version name. If more than one version is available for the track version name is shown in the track list and in the track versions section in the inspector. By default, track versions are named V1, V2, etc. However, you can rename each track version to your liking. Note: you can hide the version name next to the track name in the track list by activating / deactivating Show Version Name in Track List in the Track Versions pop-up menu for a track. Related links: Track Versions pop-up menu. Copying and pasting selected events between track versions. Renaming a track version. Renaming a track version. You can rename track versions. Procedure. In the track version section in the inspector, double-click the track version name and enter a new name. Result. The name is changed. If the available space in the track list is too small, the name is abbreviated automatically. Track version names. Renaming track versions on multiple tracks. Renaming track versions on multiple tracks. You can rename track versions on multiple tracks. Procedure. Activate all track versions that you want to rename and select the corresponding tracks. Select Project Track Versions Rename Version. Enter a new track version name and click OK. Result. In the track list, the new track version name is shown. Note. If you want to assign the same ID to track versions, select Project Track Versions, assign Common Version ID. Renaming a track version. Track versions versus lanes. Track versions versus lanes. Track versions and lanes are individual features that complement each other. Every track version can have its own set of lanes. Renaming track versions on multiple tracks. Creating lanes from track versions. Creating lanes from track versions. If your project contains track versions and you want to continue working with lanes using the comp tool, for example, you can create lanes from track versions. Procedure. Select the tracks for which you want to create lanes. Select Project Track Versions Create Lanes from Versions. A new track version named Lanes from Version is added. This track version contains all track versions on separate lanes. The original track versions are kept. Lanes that you create from MIDI track versions are muted. In the track list or in the inspector, activate the Show Lanes button for the track. On the project window toolbar, activate the Comp tool. Track versions versus lanes. Creating track versions from lanes. Creating track versions from lanes. If your project contains lanes and you want to continue working with the track version functions, you can create track versions from lanes. Procedure. Select the tracks for which you want to create track versions. If you only want to convert specific lanes, select these lanes. Select Project Track Versions Create Versions from lanes. Result. New track versions are added, one for each lane. The original lanes are kept. Any crossfades that you have created between different lanes are discarded. Creating lanes from track versions. Track presets. Track presets. Track presets are templates that can be applied to newly created or existing tracks of the same type. You can create them from any track types: audio, MIDI, instrument, sampler, group, FX, VST instrument, return, input, and output channels. They contain sound and channel settings, and they allow you to quickly browse, preview, select, and change sounds, or to reuse channel settings across projects. Track presets are organized in the MediaBay. There you can categorize them with attributes. When you apply a track preset, all the settings that are saved in the preset are applied. Track presets can only be applied to tracks of their own type. The only exception are instrument tracks. For these, VST presets are also available. Note: once a track preset is applied, you cannot undo the changes. It is not possible to remove an applied preset from a track and return to the previous state. If you are not satisfied with the track settings, you have to either edit the settings manually or apply another preset. Applying VST presets to instrument tracks leads to the removal of modifiers, MIDI inserts, or EQs. These settings are not stored in VST presets. Creating track versions from lanes. Audio track presets. Audio track presets. Track presets for audio tracks, group tracks, FX tracks, VST instrument channels, input channels, and output channels include all the settings that define the sound. You can use the factory presets as a starting point for your own editing and save the audio settings that you optimized for an artist you often work with as a preset for future recordings. The following data is saved in audio track presets. Insert effect settings including VST effect presets. EQ settings. Volume and pan. Input gain and phase. Note: to access the track presets functions for input and output channels, activate the right buttons for input and output channels in the MixConsole. This creates input and output channel tracks in the track list. Track presets. MIDI track presets. MIDI track presets. You can use MIDI track presets for multitimbral VST instruments. You can also use them for external instruments. When creating MIDI track presets, you can either include the channel or the patch. To ensure that saved MIDI track presets for external instruments work again with the same instrument, install the instrument as a MIDI device. See the separate document MIDI devices. The following data is saved in MIDI track presets. MIDI modifié, transpose, etc. MIDI insert effects. Output and channel or program change. Input transformer settings. Volume and pan. Staff settings. Color settings. Drum map settings. Audio track presets. Creating a track preset. Creating a track preset. You can create a track preset from a single track or from a combination of tracks. Procedure. In the project window, select one or more tracks. In the track list, right-click one of the selected tracks and select Save Track Preset. In the New Preset section, enter a name for the new preset. Note: you can also define attributes for the preset. Click OK to save the preset and exit the dialog. Result: track presets are saved within the application folder in the track presets folder. They are saved in default subfolders, named according to their track type: audio, MIDI, instrument, and multi. Related links. Attribute Inspector. MIDI track presets. Loading presets for tracks. Loading presets for tracks. You can choose from a variety of track presets. Procedure. In the inspector, click the preset management icon on the right side of the insert section. Select from track preset. In the results browser, double-click a track preset to apply it. Related links. Track presets. Creating a track preset. Loading presets for VST instruments. Loading presets for VST instruments. When working with VST instruments, you can choose from a variety of presets via the results browser. Procedure. In the track list, right-click the instrument track and select Load Track Preset. In the results browser, double-click a preset to apply it. Loading presets for tracks. Instrument track presets. Instrument track presets. Instrument track presets offer both MIDI and audio features and are the best choice when handling sounds of simple, monotimbral VST instruments. Use instrument track presets to audition your tracks or to save your preferred sound settings, for example. You can also extract sounds from instrument track presets to use them in instrument tracks. The following data is saved in instrument track presets. Audio insert effects. Audio EQ. Audio volume and pan. Audio input gain and phase. MIDI insert effects. MIDI track parameters. Input transformer settings. The VST instrument used for the track. Staff settings. Color settings. Drum map settings. Loading presets for VST instruments. VST presets. VST presets. VST instrument presets behave like instrument track presets. You can extract sounds from VST presets to use them in instrument tracks. The following data is saved in VST instrument presets. VST instrument. VST instrument settings. Note: modifiers, inserts, and EQ settings are not saved. VST effect plugins are available in VST3 and VST2 format. Note: in this manual, VST preset stands for VST3 instrument presets unless stated otherwise. Instrument track presets. Extracting the sound from an instrument track or VST preset. Extracting the sound from an instrument track or VST preset. For instrument tracks, you can extract the sound of an instrument track preset or VST preset. Procedure: select the instrument track to which you want to apply a sound. In the inspector, click Extract Sound from Track Preset. In the preset browser, select an instrument track preset or a VST preset. Double-click the preset to load the settings. Result: the VST instrument and its settings, but no inserts, EQs, or modifiers on the existing track are overwritten with the data of the track preset. The previous VST instrument for this instrument track is removed. The new VST instrument is set up for the instrument track. VST presets. Multi-track presets. Multi-track presets. You can use multi-track presets, for example, when recording setups that require several microphones, a drum set, or a choir, where you always record under the same conditions, and you have to edit the resulting tracks in a similar way. Furthermore, they can be used when working with layered tracks, where you use several tracks to generate a certain sound instead of manipulating only one track. If you select more than one track when creating a track preset, the settings of all selected tracks are saved as a single multi-track preset. Multi-track presets can only be applied if the target tracks are of the same type, number, and sequence as the tracks in the track preset. Therefore, they should be used in recurring situations with similar tracks and settings. Extracting the sound from an instrument track or VST preset. Loading multi-track presets. Loading multi-track presets. You can apply multi-track presets to several selected tracks. Procedure: in the project window, select several tracks. Note: multi-track presets can only be applied if track type, number, and sequence are identical for the selected tracks and the track preset. In the track list, right-click a track and select Load Track Preset. In the preset browser, select a multi-track preset. Double-click the preset to load it. Result: the preset is applied. Multi-track presets. Sampler track presets. Sampler track presets. You can use sampler track presets to reuse created sounds in later projects or newly created sampler tracks. The following data is saved in sampler track presets. Audio insert effects. Audio EQ. Audio volume and pan. Audio input gain and phase. MIDI insert effects. MIDI track parameters. Input transformer settings. Color settings. Related links. Sampler tracks. Loading multi-track presets. Creating a sampler track preset. Creating a sampler track preset. You can create a sampler track preset from a sampler track, or you can use the sampler control toolbar. Procedure: in the sampler control toolbar, click Preset Management. Click Save Track Preset. In the Save Track Preset dialog, type in a name for the new preset. Click OK to save the preset and to exit the dialog. Result: the new sampler track preset is saved. It is displayed in the preset name field on the info line. Sampler track presets are saved within the application folder of the sampler track presets folder. Related links. Creating a track preset. Sampler track presets. Pattern banks. Pattern banks. Pattern banks are presets that are created for the Beat Designer MIDI effect. They behave similarly to track presets. Related links. Pattern banks previewer. Track presets. Creating a sampler track preset. Loading track or VST presets. Loading track or VST presets. You can apply track or VST presets to selected tracks. Procedure: in the project window, select a track. Do one of the following. In the inspector, click Load Track Preset. In the track list, right-click the track and select Load Track Preset. In the sampler control toolbar, click the Preset Management button next to the preset name field and select Load Track Preset. In the preset browser, select a track, VST, or sampler track preset. Double-click the preset to load it. Result: the preset is applied. Note: you can also drag and drop track presets from the MediaBay or from the File Explorer/macOS Finder onto a track of the same type. Related links. Filters section. Pattern banks. Loading inserts and EQ from track presets. Loading inserts and EQ from track presets. Instead of loading complete track presets, you can also apply insert or equalizer settings from track presets. Procedure: select a track, open the inspector or the channel settings window, and click the preset management button on the inserts or equalizer section. Select from track preset. In the preset browser, select a track preset. Double-click the preset to load the settings. Loading track or VST presets. Track quick control presets. Track quick control presets. For audio, instrument, MIDI, FX, and group tracks, you can save and load your own quick control assignments as presets or use the factory presets. Loading inserts and EQ from track presets. Saving/loading track quick control assignments as presets. Saving/loading track quick control assignments as presets. You can save track quick control assignments as presets and load them later or in other projects. Procedure: in the inspector for your track, open the quick controls section. For instrument tracks, the track quick controls are set to the 8 default VST quick controls of the loaded instrument by default. Click Preset Management in the top right corner of the quick controls section and select one of the presets. The track quick control assignment changes and gives you access to the channel parameters. Note: you can also make your own assignments and save them as presets and delete, rename, or reset the presets to the default assignments. Track quick control presets. Parts and events. Parts and events. Parts and events are the basic building blocks in Cubase. Saving/loading track quick control assignments as presets. Events. Events. In Cubase, you can view and edit most event types on their specific tracks in the project window. You can add events by importing or recording. Related links. Audio regions. MIDI events. Parts and events. Audio events. Audio events. Audio events are created automatically when you record or import audio in the project window. You can view and edit audio events in the project window and in the sample editor. An audio event triggers the playback of the corresponding audio clip. By adjusting the offset and the length values of the event, you can determine which section of the audio clip is played back. The audio clip itself remains unchanged. Related links. Project window. Sample editor. Audio files and audio clips. Basic recording methods. Events. Creating audio events. Creating audio events. You can create audio events by recording or importing audio into the project window. Procedure. Do one of the following. Record some audio. Select File, Import Audio File to import an audio file from your hard disk or from any external storage device. Select File, Import Audio CD to import an audio file from an audio CD. Select File, Import Audio from Video File to import audio from a video file on your hard disk or from any external storage device. Drag an audio file from the MediaBay, the audio part editor, or the sample editor and drop it in the event display. Copy an event from a different Cubase project and paste it in the event display. Related links. Basic recording methods. Audio file import. Importing audio CD tracks. Importing audio from video files. MediaBay and Media Rack. Audio part editor. Sample editor. Audio events. Creating new files from events. Creating new files from events. An audio event plays a section of an audio clip, which in turn refers to one or more audio files on the hard disk. However, you can create a new file that consists only of the section that is played by the event. Procedure. Select one or several audio events. Set up fade in, fade out, and event volume. These settings will be applied to the new file. Select audio bound selection. You are asked whether you want to replace the selected event or not. Do one of the following. To create a new file that only contains the audio in the original event, click Replace. To create a new file and add a clip for the new file to the pool, click No. Result. If you click Replace, a clip for the new file is added to the pool and the original event is replaced by a new event playing the new clip. If you click No, the original event is not replaced. Note. You can also apply the bound selection function to audio parts. In that case, the audio of all events in the part is combined to a single audio file. If you select Replace when asked, the part is replaced with a single audio event playing a clip of the new file. Related links. Event-based fades. Creating audio events. Audio files and audio clips. Audio files and audio clips. In Cubase, audio editing and processing are non-destructive. When you edit or process audio in the project window, the audio file on the hard disk remains untouched. Instead, your changes are saved to an audio clip that is automatically created on import or during recording, and that refers to the audio file. This allows you to undo changes or revert to the original version. If you apply processing to a specific section of an audio clip, a new audio file that contains only this section is created. The processing is applied to the new audio file only, and the audio clip is automatically adjusted so that it refers both to the original file and to the new processed file. During playback, the program will switch between the original file and the processed file at the correct positions. You will hear this as a single recording with processing applied to one section only. This allows you to undo processing at a later stage and to apply different processing to different audio clips that refer to the same original file. You can view and edit audio clips in the pool. Related links. Pool. Audio regions. Replacing clips in events. Creating new files from events. Replacing clips in events.